Hi, and welcome to the Dreamverse, which is all about telling stories and dreams and analyzing them. On the 5th of May, the day before my final math exam, I had a dream about the math exam, and this was the second one that week. The first one was quite distressing, but this one was just comical. We're in our regular math class, but we're going to have the exam, and this all feels very real. I thought it was reality until I woke up. Everyone's sitting in their normal places and we're having papers in front of us that we have to work on. One of my peers, let's call her Sarah, talks to someone next to her, Hugo. But keep in mind, we all have the papers that we're working on. She's explaining to him that what he should do to answer the questions and walking him through it. He is infuriated and tells her to shut up. And he's really harsh about it too, because obviously we're doing an exam and we can't talk during it. Then everyone, including the teacher, tells him, no, this is just a last-minute practice worksheet right before the exam. I can tell Hugo feels very silly and stupid, kind of embarrassed too. And I'm just a quiet observer minding my own business, like I usually do in math class actually. But at this point I speak up and tell them about a similar situation. I reference the other similar dream I had a few nights prior to this. I say, the other night I actually had a dream literally like this, etc., etc. I started telling them about the dream and I get interrupted several times by people just speaking over me, and eventually it fades away and I wake up. So the other dream I'm talking about was similar to this, just taking place in a different room. But this time, I was the one who felt stupid. Hugo and I swapped places essentially. We were writing the exam, or at least I thought we were, and this same girl talks to me. She explains how we would go about solving different questions. At first, I bear through her talking, but then I get super anxious and apprehensive. I also tell her to stop talking, but she doesn't listen to me. Eventually, I ask the teacher if I can sit somewhere else because I'm almost exploding from anxiety. The whole time, I'm scared that I will get in trouble, even though I'm not the one who's talking to Sarah. But at this moment of intense emotions, she gets very defensive and makes me feel bad about acting this way. She blurts out, it's not a test. It was a worksheet again, and we didn't even have to complete the whole thing. We could just page through it if we wanted to. But I didn't hear the instructions because of her talking so much. I woke up at that moment because it was all just too much. The intense emotions I had felt, and then it not even being a test and being told implicitly that my anxiety wasn't valid. And this is what your brain does. You only dream about the things that you can handle. And in this case, once it was too much, my brain made me wake up so that I didn't have to deal with this stressful situation anymore. So what does this mean? I have a lot of anxiety around exams in general, and this was one of my final exams in grade 12, so this was even more amplified. It's not really known why we have dreams, but part of it is to process things and to work through them. I think this was my subconscious mind's way of mentally preparing me for the exams. There's not a lot of symbolism or hidden signs to look into in this dream, but I want to point a few things out. I'm very scared of things going wrong in exams and getting in trouble when I'm not actually the one doing anything wrong. And the more distressing dream illustrates this clearly. But I also don't like looking silly or not knowing what's going on. I also think her explaining things to me shows that she thinks I didn't study enough or that I'm not good at math. It's really awful being perceived this way, but it shows my insecurity in this area. So that's quite interesting. In the second, more comical dream, I was no longer the subject of the dream. I think this was because I was becoming more prepared for the exam. Not only with studying the material, but feeling more prepared mentally to go into that situation. So my subconscious was showing me through someone else, this person, Hugo, that the situation was going to be okay. It wasn't going to be overly dramatic and distressing like in the first dream. If something happened, I could make humor out of it, just like how Hugo found out it wasn't actually an exam yet. And me telling the story of the previous dream at the end shows how I'm becoming more confident because that was a decision that I made, to talk about this dream involving a situation of immense anxiety and distress, but I was able to talk about it, which is a good first step. There's a lot more going on here, but this was the main message I'm taking away from the dream. Honestly, I could analyze this for hours and hours, just because there were so many subtle things connecting to my life with interesting insights. I won't bore you with all that right now because I have so many other dreams that I think you would rather hear about. So, I hope you enjoyed. Bye, and stay tuned for the next story from my subconscious.